Hi everyone, welcome back to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm GoLocal News editor Kate Nagel. I'd like to welcome in a Rhode Island legend, singer, songwriter, playwright, author, two-time Grammy winner, Bill Harley. Thank you for joining us today.
It's great to be here, Kate.
I know you're a busy guy because this coming weekend is the Rhode Island Festival of Children's Books and Authors at the Lincoln School, and you've got some of your works with you here. Now, this is a big festival. You've participated before. What's this weekend going to be like for parents and kids who want to go?
Well, we can talk about the play on Friday night in a little bit, but Saturday, all day, there are some of the best authors in the country. Children's authors are going to be there, and each one of them is going to be given a talk to both parents and kids about how they write their books. Everybody's got their own little dog and pony show, you know, about what they do. And the books will be there for sale, and you can get the book signed. You know, I remember when I had my book signed when I was a kid, and it's just one of those really great things. So it's just really an incredible assemblage of authors, and this great thing where everybody's there to support reading, and I love going there.
It's a great festival. We featured it here on GoLocal already this week. How many titles do you have under your belt, Bill?
I'm not sure. I think 16. You lose count, but you know, they go back. Because, as you know, Kate, I've been doing this for a while.
I do know.
I actually told stories for years before I started to do books. But actually, my mom was a kid's author. So, but I've had, not all of them are in print, but there's maybe 10 or 12 of them still in print. Yeah.
And you've brought some of your favorites here. Before we get to Charlie Bumpers, because that's a unique new offering from Bill Harley and others here in the state, let's talk about some of the books that will be with you this weekend. And Dirty Joe, the Pirate.
This is a true story. That was my editor. She thought that was funny. Yeah, this is actually, I wrote this a number of years ago. I said, you know, you kind of set little goals for yourself and said, for the next month I'm going to write a poem every day. And I didn't know what was going to happen. And that one kind of fell out one day. Then it sat on my computer for a long time. And editor I worked at with HarperCollins said, well, what else do you got? And I sent her 200 poems. And she said, let's make that into a book. And it's a horrible story about a pirate who steals socks. And he's doing fine. It's in verse. Out upon the briny deep where the wild and wet winds blow, there lived a cruel and evil man, the pirate Dirty Joe. He sailed upon the scummiest craft that ever left the docks. He roamed the world in 7 seas in search of dirty socks. And he's doing pretty well until he runs into a pirate that steals underwear.
And you know, one of your hallmarks is, you know, with your humor, the irreverence, and a fascination with socks.
You know, people have pointed that out to me, and I wasn't really, it's like one of those things where somebody else has to tell you.
Yeah.
You know, read, like a deep reading of my work. Socks and shoes too, actually. There's sneakers end up in a lot of my stories. I don't know, I think, you know, kids' worlds are, you know, kind of small and they're really immediate. And how many times, and you can remember as a kid, like sitting on your bed and either peeling off your socks or putting on your socks or looking in your desk drawer for a new pair of socks. So I don't know. There you go. There's just
something universal and immediate. And as you said, that small world of children and Dirty Joe.
Yeah.
Dirty Joe. Let's talk a little bit about sitting down to eat. Again, something universal.
Yes, actually, and that actually came out of a song that I wrote a number of years ago when this date how long ago it was, because I wrote it when my older son Noah, who lives here in Providence, some people probably know him, was 5, and I wrote this for him and his play school mates. I wrote it as a song actually, but then a publisher heard the song and wanted to turn it into a book. So I don't do on the picture. These are picture books. I've got a bunch of chapter books out too, but I don't do the pictures, which is just as well, I think. But that one has had a really, really long life. It gets used in schools a lot, and I often do the song and performance. So I'm actually I'll be doing both of those. I'm going to do a little outside show. If it's not raining like it is, I'll be doing an outside show at some point Saturday afternoon, so I'll be doing both of those things.
Doing both of them. And let's tack a little bit here. You've got the CD with you with your Play It Again, the favorite songs, and the One New Story.
Yeah, that's not my newest, actually, if you take a close look.
It's sort of new, a little bit older story.
No, if you take a close look at it, you'll see I'm younger. I have 37 recordings.
This was totally recent. Look at the picture.
No, not so much. Not so much. Missing the hair, but it's dark. Yeah, okay. So that is actually a compilation of a bunch of songs that I've sung for years and years and years. Some of you may know them, like "You're in Trouble" and "50 Ways to Fool Your Mother" and "Dad Threw the TV Out the Window" and "Black Socks."
Black Socks, never get dirty.
Yeah. Now you're showing yourself.
I'm showing my age too. So I wanted to segue a little bit. The Grammy Awards.
Yeah.
What's it like to be a Grammy Award-winning artist?
Well, you know, I've been 6 or 7 times, so it's really horrible.
The fact of the matter is,
no.
to get over with.
No, I've got to. Well, actually, I have 2 recordings this year, and we didn't even submit them because it's like other people can win. And so, but I have won 2 times, and the first couple times you go, you can't believe you're there, especially because, I mean, this is our label. Like, our recordings are in my basement, right? As in, we're not talking Warner Brothers or MCA or whatever, you know? So it was amazing to me, like, there was enough people in the industry that liked me, you know? And then the other thing that happens is I went 3 times before I won, and so a friend of mine went before I went. He said, "Bill, if you win, don't go like, oh my God, I can't believe I won, I can't believe I won." He said, "That's so fake, I hate it when people do that." So guess what happens when you do, when they call your name. You go, oh my God, and then you go up there. So the other thing there's a funny story about that. I think it was the first time I won. It was for children's recordings, and Gwyneth Paltrow was nominated for something she did. We call people who work with kids, we'll call them carpetbaggers. The adults who come in and go, oh, I think I'm a kid. So anyway, but she didn't win. But she was backstage. She was, because she had introduced something, and she was kind of waiting to come out. And then, you know, I won. And then after you win, they take you backstage, and then you go through this whole phalanx of one media thing after another, and you stand on stage, and people ask you questions. Okay, so they took me to the first one. There's like, 50 reporters. I go, any questions for Bill Harley? Won the blah blah blah. Nothing. The next one, another 50 seconds. Any questions? No, nothing.
So, don't you have anything to ask me?
No, it's like, this is like just after you win. It's like, we're not really caring. And then finally some guy goes, how did it feel to beat Gwyneth Paltrow? And I said, well, I guess it's not a beauty contest, okay? So the next day, we're still in Los Angeles. A friend of mine from New York says, Bill, you're in the New York Post. It says, Gwyneth Paltrow lost her first Grammy nomination to veteran children's performer Bill Harley when asked how it felt. The balding, middle-aged storyteller said, that's what he said. So that was my 15 minutes. So be careful what you wish for. You're just going to call it out.
But I mean, it's a huge accolade.
It was great. No, it is.
Honor.
No, it is. And it didn't make a difference in terms of like, I mean, you don't make any money from it. It's not this huge, but as a calling card, it's pretty great.
Grammy Award winning.
Yeah.
You might know me. You might know me from the Grammys.
It works at cocktail parties until you want it for a children's recording, and then they kind of go off someplace else.
Now, is there video for posterity of you receiving the award going up? I mean, do you watch it on repeat?
No, I don't know that. But they took some really bad pictures, which are still out there on the internet of like they got me to mug and. My wife.
I hate pictures that last forever on the internet because they do.
Yeah. It's like, I shouldn't have done that.
Well, I had to segue to the musical portion of it. We do have another book before we get to the play portion of it. But let's talk about Lost and Found.
Yeah, that actually, this is illustrated by Adam Gustafson. And I wrote this book because, so one day, my son Dylan, who's grown now, he came out of school, and he was not wearing his hat. He was wearing this really ugly, and he was in middle school, so this explains a whole lot. This really ugly, nasty, grody orange stocking cap. And I said, "Where's your hat?" And he said, "I lost it." I said, "Where'd you get it?" He said, "That one." I said, "I got it from the Lost and Found." And I said, "Dylan, you can't just take other people's hats, and these,
That's what middle schoolers do,
nobody
Dad.
Nobody cares, Dad." So the next day, before he comes out, his friend comes out, wearing his hat, Dylan's hat. I said, "Hey, Harris, get over here." Right?
That's Dylan's hat.
Where's he over here? And he said, "Oh, I didn't know." At which point, Dylan comes out, and Harris says, "Hey, that's my hat." And I said, "You guys trade." And they said, no, we like these hats, because they were middle schoolers. So anyway, I was thinking about the Lost and Found box. So this is an absolutely enormous Lost and Found box that Adam drew, and it's about this kid who's lost his hat. His grandmother made the hat, so he has to find it, but he's afraid of the custodian because he was terrifying. And but he becomes friends with the custodian as they go down through hundreds of years of lost things, like Greek statues and dinosaur bones and stuff like that. So that's that, and that's teachers seem to like that one.
So before we get to Charlie Bumpers and the play at the GAM, I do want to ask you, because we have noted illustrator Bob Alley, R.W. Alley. The illustrator, as you may see watching now every week on GoLocal, provides a political cartoon. He illustrates Paddington Bear. Let's talk about the illustration process when you partner up and your publisher says, here's you, and you've probably got this vision of sort of what these characters and quirks look like. I mean, what's that process like when you're like, no, I really think he's supposed to kind of look like this, he's not really supposed to look like that, or like, oh my God, you know me. I mean,
yeah, the process is you get to shut up.
Really? They're like,
yeah,
this is the illustrator we picked for you and you're going to like it?
Yeah, and you might get a little input. I mean, if I was like extraordinarily famous, I might be able to choose something. But mostly, it's like, this is who we like. Do you like them? And I'll go, eh. Or I'll go, this is great.
Yeah.
But they do care about what I think. And sometimes I can
tweak it
a little bit. And then, by and large, the editor does not want you to talk. Like Bob actually has done, he did one of my picture books, a Christmas book, and he's also illustrated a couple of my CD covers, but the editor knew that, and she said, I don't care how close you guys live, I don't care if you have each other's phone numbers, do not talk to them. And so one illustrator...
So they like the firewall?
They do.
Okay.
Well, one illustrator told me that a writer was talking to him and coaching him, and it turned out that he wanted the kid in the book to look like his son. And so sometimes it's good to have that buffer.
Indeed, indeed. And let's talk about turning literature into performance. Charlie Bumpers on the stage.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about Charlie Bumpers and taking it from a book to a play.
Yeah, so now I'm going to forget exactly who made the first contact here, but the GAM Theater, which has just moved to Warwick, it's a really nice space. It's opening this week, right? They contacted me last year. We started to talk about, they had gotten a hold of the first Charlie Bumpers book, this one. Charlie Bumpers was the Teacher of the Year. And Jessica Chase was interested in doing an adaptation of it. It's because they're interested in kind of expanding, doing work for kids and families. And so I worked with her on this last year, and they as soon as there's going to be 7, there's 6 of the Charlie Bumpers book. He's a kid who's in 4th grade, and it kind of takes, he's like a normal kid who's messy and inattentive. My friend who read this book said, "Oh, nice autobiography, Bill." So he gets the one teacher he doesn't want this year, and he's trying to get out of getting her. So they did that last year, and they did a great job. And so they just moved on to the second book this year. And this book, it's been an incredible experience. As it turned out, I know a lot of the actors, Dave Rabinow and all those folks, John and Nicole and all these people before. So it was just a joy to watch them turn it on the stage. And it's not, they had to make adjustments and figure out every one of the characters is playing 2 or 3 different characters. So it's kind of madcap, which is really appropriate for this because in this book, Charlie, he gets the role in this class play that he does not want. He's supposed to be the nice.
I see a recurring theme.
Yeah, I know. Well, that is actually basically. Yeah.
Is this your childhood?
It's never been happy. No, but it's just like things are never what you think they are. Actually, because if you think about it with kids' lives, we're always asking them to do things. It's like, go stand over there with those 25 people you don't know. But I don't know, get over here, it's fine. Well, most adults, you did that, they say, can I take a glass of wine with me, right? But
exactly.
I'll be fine, but kids, not so much.
They're like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, so anyway,
why?
So they've turned this into a play, and it's opening Friday night at the book festival. It actually ran first time on Monday on the holiday, but this is kind of the big premiere of it.
The big premiere
and
this weekend.
It's 6 o'clock at Lincoln School, and it's really funny. It might even be funnier than the book. It's just hilarious because of people who are acting it out. It's just great.
So Friday night, you're going to see Charlie Bumpers at Lincoln, the Festival of Children's Authors, excuse me, children's books and authors. So books, music, speaking, plays. What haven't you done that is there any other box to check off?
Probably.
Movies?
Movies. I've been close.
Movies?
I wrote a couple screenplays, but you know, Los Angeles is scary.
I've heard.
It's scary out there. Yeah. But honestly, I have friends in New York and I have friends in Los Angeles and Nashville. But my wife Deb and I, and Debbie's my manager. We work really closely. I went through a couple television deals that were very close, and it never happened. And I think we just kind of decided this is where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tour a lot, but this is where I am. And
you're ours. You're Rhode Island.
Yeah, and seeing kids and schools and seeing families together. That's my work. So.
Well, we appreciate all that you bring to the state here, to all the kids and families and folks who remember you from growing up.
Yes, they do. I said the common experience is somebody comes up, says, "These are my 3 children," and when I was 9, and then I say, "Okay, stop
next,
it right
next,
there."
Really, but really, between everything that you've done, such a prolific author, singer, performer, and the plays. We'll have links to the festival going on this weekend, and of course, Bill Harley's website as well. And we really appreciate your taking the time to come into the studio.
It's great to be here. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Well, that just about wraps up the day here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. If you missed it at 3 p.m., Harvard pollster John Delavolpe was here in studio talking about the latest statewide poll results. You can watch it on GoLocal on Facebook, and you can get more information on site as well. And of course, Bill Harley, appreciate your coming in. Be careful out there. It's raining quite coming. That's actually might have let up a little bit here in downtown Providence, but we'll be back in studio tomorrow here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast.